I mean, the thing about it, it's not just, people might say, oh, it's just a building, but it's not actually just a building. If you look closer into it, there were many firsts that you actually did when building this building. All you have to do is just go to the front entrance and look at the front entrance with your steel actually through the glazing, something that normally would say, well, that can't be done, but you proved that you can do it, and to make a statement. Look at that, so you've actually done it. I'm very interested in glazing because my husband does it, so I know how difficult it is to do something like that. Another fact, first building to have 60-metre span trusses with full 20-metre length steel in the roof structure. Never been done before.
You did listen.
I did listen. It's amazing. Along with that, you've got unique lock and pin system to secure the joints so the building's able to flex.
That's right.
These things have never been done before. Your building is going to be not only a state-of-the-art premises where you actually produce your work, you're going to have a lot of people coming in to having a look at this because there's nothing like it around.
And we're proud for them to come and have a look. We had reasons for all of that sort of stuff too. That beam that was through the glass that everyone talks about, we wanted to display basically the length of steel that we could produce in the factory. Okay. So that length of steel was basically what we can produce. I mean, putting it through the glass was an architect's idea. So yeah, we work pretty close with them and the engineers. So yeah, everything that's in there is basically what we can do. So.
Then you've also got huge water tanks where are specific for firefighting, where you collect water there, which is again promoting self-sufficiency, which is fantastic. Now, another unique aspect of the plant was that you bought the machinery first and you built the building around it, because there have been cases where people built a building and the actual machines didn't fit into it.
Yeah, we did. We had a different approach. We actually didn't pick the machines ourselves. Our staff did. We picked a group of a few site foremen and some of the guys in the factory. We sent them overseas, not us. Go and have a look. Tell us what you want. They came back with a proposal, said these are the machines we want.
And I heard they were Italian.
What's that? The guys that went?
The machines.
Some of the machines were Italian. Some came from Germany. Which was another funny story because the guys that we sent there weren't, so it was, the communications was a bit hard.
Right.
But yeah, they came back and told us this is the factory we'd love. Then we realised how big it was going to be to make it fit. But what we did, we made it fit. It was a bit, the architects and engineers at some stage wanted to kill us, but they worked pretty hard to get that right.
And of course, 3 of your machines are named after women, Anna, Elaine and Belinda.
Well, in fact, what we did, the beam is named the beam.
Okay.
So we used the letters of each one of those, of the word, and that's what we came up with the names with. And the staff named that. So obviously beam for Bell for Belinda, E for Elaine. So that's how that came up. The factory guys wanted to do that. They wanted to name the machines. Oh
look, just going around and looking at what Joe had to say, our tour guide, and the people that were there working, he said he looks forward to coming to work every day. You can see that feeling, you can feel that feeling, and I mean that's half the battle won when you've got workers that want to come to work. You know, I say truly congratulations, because you look through all different areas of this plant. Also, your on-site huts that you used to have manufactured, you're able to manufacture yourself now.
Yeah, we
which
do.
Is fantastic.
Yeah, we do that too. Yeah, we actually use kids out of school that come and treat that as a bit of a work experience on the job training, and they build them sometimes a little bit awkward, but again, it's all experience.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like soccer training. You know, you got to try, you got to have the go, and until you get it right. So. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the thing that really did impress me the most, apart from all these facts and these new innovations, is the way that you're able to share this with other small businesses. So you're basically a service provider for small fabricators, so they are now not restricted to what they can provide their customers. They can start the job, send it on to you, you do the major parts like say bending or the bigger parts of steel, and then you give it back to them to finish the job, which is, I mean, that is a real, something that you're really sharing with the whole of South Australia.
It's for the building industry. No, we want to do our bit. We know what it was like when we had a small factory, and we would love to have done those jobs just a little bit bigger. That's what we're there for. We're there to help that too. So, yeah, we put a lot of thought into it. We've just got to make sure we get enough work through it now. That's the hard part.
I definitely think you will. It's great. It also offers greater flexibility for the Bianco Group for long term, for your growth opportunities as well. And I know that you and Nick and all the employees that work there are definitely proud of this new facility, and congratulations. I really implore everyone to go down and have a look, because it is truly something that I haven't seen anything like that before.
And everyone's welcome to come and have a look. We're happy to do that.
Fantastic. Look, I want to ask this question to both of you because I think both of you will have something different to contribute. The future of football nationally and here in South Australia. First of all, Dario, no, actually I'm going to throw this one to you. The World Cup bid by Australia, do you think that we've got the facilities and the services to be able to pull something like that off?
I don't think we've got the facilities right now, Nat, but I'm sure if we were serious about the bid that the government, both federal and state governments would get behind any of the bids, and given our history with big events, a la Olympic Games, there's no reason why we couldn't do it as good as anybody else. And I'm sure that if we get it here, the crowds would be sensational. Everybody would get behind it. All you have to look is at the Olympic Games in Hindmarsh. And I was living in Melbourne at the time, and went to the first game over there, 80,000 people. So there's no doubt that we can do it, and we can do it as good as anybody else, if not better. But there's a lot of work to be done. Stadiums, for instance. There's several stadiums that would need to be built, others that would need to be refurbished. And that can only be good for the game going forward into the future if that happens. So look, I'm a great G for putting the bid in and hopefully getting it, because I think it's only going to be positive for the game.
Now, Dario, I mean, you mentioned before, if we get a final, we really can't hold it our Hindmarsh because we haven't got the capacity there.
Yep.
What would be, let's say, hypothetically speaking, a proposal to build onto Hindmarsh to give it bigger capacity, to perhaps 20,000? I know we can't talk about it now because we're not filling it now, which everybody out there should be getting to these games to get that same sort of atmosphere that we had, in Adelaide United Mark 1. But, what's your feeling about this? Is it a road that we can go down on?
Well, now, this is very close to my heart, this whole stadium issue. I was pretty lucky to go to, obviously, to the German World Cup, and I believe Australia can definitely host a World Cup. There's no question. I reckon if any city is going to sort of like drag its heels a little bit is Adelaide, because we don't have anything purpose-built for that. I mean, you don't want to build a $60,000 stadium for the sake of hosting a World Cup. But Adelaide United, yeah, we are going to get 16,500 people eventually, 2-3 years. I mean, we're here for long term, and we're not in a hurry to go anywhere. So Hindmarsh Stadium is a fantastic venue to watch the game, but it just doesn't hold enough people. Can you extend? You can, but then there's still transport and car parking issues. So I think it's the writing's on the wall that 5-10 years time, something definitely has to be done about that.
So where would we go? Out near Bianco's at Jeff's Cross Sports Park?
We argued about that for a little bit. No, I still think. I mean, like I said, I was in Germany for the World Cup. The best stadiums are the ones that were close to the city. Easy to get into the city after. There was atmosphere, because the game's only 90 minutes. It's what happens before and after the game, and the atmosphere was huge. So getting close to the city is always good. I mean, land options are always going to be limited for us. We definitely need to do something. I mean, the World Cup's in 2018 is the bid, but we've got the Asian Cup that we're trying to host here. We've got the Women's World Cup that we want to host. So there's a lot of things. It's not just the main World Cup. There's before that still to come. So we really need to do something very soon.
No, I was just going to say, just adding to that, if we only look at the fact that Hindmarsh is not full at every game, we'll never build another stadium. I look at Melbourne Victory. They weren't able to fill Olympic Park every week. They've gone to a better stadium with better facilities, easier to get to, good corporate facilities, and they've gone from an average crowd of 13,500 to an average crowd last season of 30,000. So if you build something that's of quality, that's easier to get to, easy access in and out of, you don't get wet, you don't get sunburnt sitting out in the sun, people will come. And
we've
I think
actually
it's
got a waiting list on corporate entertainment now. So if we had another 20 corporate boxes, we'd sell them easily. So we are very limited. Sorry, Mike, I should cut you short, but that is so true, because Melbourne was the same. They couldn't sell out their Olympic Park. They got a better venue. Everyone wants to go. So it makes a big difference. Very big difference.
It is something that can instigate hour-long conversations about this. I mean, I know a lot of people have asked me about it. I don't know enough about it to be able to talk. That's not my area of expertise, but definitely we've got to look at it. It's an issue that we've got to look at, because, as you said, better venue, people all want to get there and see the spectacle that it is.
Well, I mean, you put yourself in the FFA shoes. I mean, it's not news I want to hear, but I understand why they're doing it. See, the finals gets taken over by the FFA, so nothing to do with Adelaide United. Obviously, gate takings they get and everything. So it's to their best interest. If Adelaide were to play, say, Melbourne Victory again in the grand final, but we had the right to host it, they'll be silly not to move it to Melbourne, because they're going to get 55,000 people at Telstra Dome. So don't want to say it, don't want to hear it, but unfortunately that's the facts, you know. So that's why we've got to really do something. And I'm hoping this Adelaide Oval thing on the 28th. So please.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, we've been advertising this. You've got to get out there. Bring a friend who doesn't normally watch football. Bring someone else. Bring your mates. Get out there and watch this game so we can fill it up and show people that, you know, people are interested in football in South Australia. And, you know, when you've got a crowd, it's always fantastic fun. You make your own fun, and it's something that you talk about once you leave as well. It's an experience that... you know, I ask everyone to get along to this game because it's at the most beautiful ground in South Australia, and you know, honestly, do yourself a favour and get out there.